park. Send your kids to Box Hill High. Think about how much money you can save in private school fees by sending them to one of the best schools, one of the best public schools in Victoria. We're on the market and selling, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the instruction to sell at $910,000. The words that you've been waiting for. Sorry? 15? 915 back in front here at $915,000 now. At $915,000 here on my left-hand side. Granny need to know, 915 on the market and selling. No late bids, no late offers. Sold sticker will be slapped onto the board here. There will be a new purchaser here today, 442 Mersey Street in Box Hill North. 20, thank you Granny, 920 straight back at you. Now what do you say? At $920,000 now. At 920. 920 now, 25 to get you back in front. At $920,000 at the moment. At $920,000. Jim, need to know now at 920 now. At $920,000 here. 920. 920 now. At $920,000 at the moment. At $920,000 now, 25 to get you back in front. At $920,000. Gonna call it 3 times and sell away now, ladies and gentlemen. At $920,000 now. No further interest from the crowd. They'll be walking with their keys. You'll be back onto the marketplace at $920,000 at the moment. First call now at $920. Second opportunity now at $920,000. For the third and final call now at $900. 925, welcome you to bidding here now at $925,000 at the moment. At $925 now, the interest here on my left-hand side, which only means one thing, we're still in the great value buying zone at $925. At $925, Grady, can I see you back in front now? We're playing for keeps here now. Now's not the time to back down at $925,000 at the moment. At $925 here. At $925. Let's go $930, sir. 27. 27 here. At $927 back against you, sir. At $927,000 here. At $927. At $927 here. Can I see a 30, sir? At $927 here. You nearly missed out just before. Hate for you to miss out again. At $927,000 here. At $927,000. First call now, $928 now, $928, $928 back against you, Granny, at $928. At $928,000 now. 30 now, 30 straight back at you, Jim. What do you say? At $930 now. At $930,000. Chintan, what do you say? Haven't forgotten about you as well. At $932. At $932. At $932 now, Granny, $932. $932 now, Jim. Granny, $932. Let's go 34. At $932 now. At $932,000. Sorry? 35? 32? 35. Thank you, sir. 935. At $935 now. 35 here. 935 at the moment. At $935. Jim, need to know. 6. 936. 936 here on my left. At $936. 7. 37. 37 here. Let's go 40, sir. I'll put in a knockout offer. I think $950 will do it. At $937,000 now. At $937,000 here across the road. 937. 937, Jim. Need to know here. 37. Sir. 937 at the moment. What do you say? 8. Lucky number 8. Back against you, sir, at $938. At $938,000 now. 39. 40 now, say. 40. 40 now. At $940 here. At $940,000. Don't miss out for $1,000. At $940,000 at the moment.
41.
41. 41. The ones don't seem to be working. Let's try 10s or more. At $941,000 at the moment. At $941. 941 here. At $941 on my right. Let's try $950. As I said before, I think that could be that knockout blow that we're looking for at $941,000 at the moment. At $941, sir, back against you. Jim, need to know as well at 9:41 now. Looks like the three of you here still left at 9:41 at $941,000. At $941,000 at the moment. 9:41 here. Sir, need to know now. Prepare to miss out now. 45. 45 now, back in front, 9:45. At 9:45, Granny, what do you say? Let's try 9:50. At 945. At $945,000 here. 9:45. At $945,000 here, standing next to Jen. Holding the bid, holding the keys. 46 back in front, 9:46. We've missed you, sir. Love to see you back in front at 9:46. At $946,000 now, back against you, Granny, at 9:46. At 946, Jim, what do you say now? At $946,000 at the moment. At 946. 946, Yang. 946 holding the bid. Granny, need to know, 946 at the moment. Jim, $946,000 at the moment. Can sell at any 47. 947 at the moment. At 947. Sir, can I see 948? 947 at the moment. 947 here. Let's try lucky number 8 or more. At 947 at the moment. How about 50? At 947. 47 here. At 947. Think about it, sir. Not going to find a property for this value in Box Hill High School zone at $947,000. Ready for you to move in straight away. No need to do any renovations at $947,000. Yang, what do you say? At 947. 50. Thank you, Jim. 950 here. At $950,000 now. 950, Granny, what do you say? At 950 now. Got there in the end. At 950,000. Sorry? 50 is here. Oh, we're 50 now. We're 950. We can't go backwards, so we can only go forwards. At $950,000 now. Let's try 960. At $950,000 here. At 950. Granny, Yang. 51. 51 back against you, sir. 51 at the moment. At 951. At 951 at the moment. At $951,000. Who's going to round me up to 60? At 951. At $951,000 here on my left. 951. At 951. Anything here on my right hand side? On the phone now seeking instructions, which indicates to me a bid could be forthcoming at $951,000 at the moment. At 951. Jim, anything here? 52? 55. Thank you, sir. Back in front. Thank you, ma'am. At 955. Good to see you. We've missed you as well. At $955,000. At 955 here. Across the road. At 955. At 955 now. Anything here, Jim? 55. Yang, back against you. 55. 56. 56 back against you, sir. 56. Shake of the head. Are you sure? At 956. You did that earlier. I'm not sure if I can believe you. At 956. I'll come back to you a little bit later. At $956,000 here on my left. At 956. Jim, anything here? At 956 at the moment. Granny at 956. At 900. Sorry. 60? 65. 65, thank you, ma'am, at 965. Good bidding here. At $965,000, knockout offer. 66, 966. At 966 here. At 966. Some say it's a lucky number, some say it's lucky. 966. At 966 here. At $966,000. Back against you over here, 966. Let's try 75. At 966. Jim, what do you say? At $966,000. 966. 70 now, thank you, Jim, and 970 here. 71. 71 here on my left. 71. 71 here. 971. At $971,000. At 971 here. at 971, at 971, 72, 73, 3, 4, maybe 73, 973. How about a 4, Jim? And then the 5 back against you. A 973 here at the moment. At 973. 9730. 973 now, Jim. Need to know now. At 973. Auction's gone on for 30 minutes now. At 973. At $973,000 at the moment. 973. Let's go 75 here. At $973,000. I'm sure you're all done and dusted now. No late bit, no regrets here now, ladies and gentlemen. At $973,000 at the moment. At 973, Jim, what do you say? 75. Thank you. Back in front, 975. At 975 at the moment. At 975. At $975,000 across the road, Granny, what do you say? At 975. 75 now, sir, what do you say? 975. And 975 now, let's go 980, sir. As I said before, the ones don't seem to be working. Let's go up in 5s or more. At $975,000 here. At 975. At $975,000 here. First call now at 975. Second opportunity now at $975,000. For the third and final call now at $975,000. All done, all finished, all silent. 76, thank you, sir, in the nick of time. At 976, you nearly missed out there. At 976. At now $976,000 now, Jim, what do you say? At $976,000 here. At 976. 76 here. Gang, anything here? 77? 77. 77, Granny, back against you. Now, what do you say? 77 now. Every time I come back to you, the price goes even higher. At 977. At $977,000. If you bid, I won't come to you. At 977,000. 980, thank you, Granny. At 980. At 985, thank you, sir. At 985. At $985,000 now. At 985. They're shaking their heads. At 985. 85 here, holding the bid. At $985,000 at the moment. Granny, anything here? 985. At $985,000. At 985, Jim, what do you say? 985. At $985,000 at the moment. At 985. 985, holding the bid here. At 985. Granny, you need to know, Jim, what do you say? 985 now. Yeah. 985 now. At $985,000. Brady, Jim, need to know now. 985, going to call it 3 times and sell away now. Can't hold the bid for much longer here. At $985,000. First call now at 985. Second opportunity now at 985,000. 86, thank you, sir. 986. At 986 now. At $986,000 now. Going to call it 3 times now. At 986. First call now at 986. Second opportunity now at $986,000. For the third and final call now at $986,000. All done, all finished, all signed at $986,000. In a year now, need to know, Jim.
You take 500?
That's probably one, sir. We're going to get there anyway.
See, running out of money now.
Okay, I'll take a 500. Back against you, sir. 986,500. At 986,500, back against you, sir. Everyone's stretching the limits here. 500 bids have come out. Sorry?
99.
90?
99.
990. 990. Oh, 990. Okay, all right. 990. 999 sounds even better. At 990 now, back in front. 990, back against you, sir. At $990,000 here. At 990, Jim, need to know now. At $990,000. Jim, now what do you say? How about another one? Take us to 991. At 990 at the moment. At $990,000. First call now, 990. Second opportunity now at $990,000 for the third and final call now at $990,000. All done? All finished? All silent? Just doing our due diligence for our vendors, making sure that you've left your best on the table here, sir, at $990,000. 91, thank you, sir, at $991. At $991 now back against you. Now's the time to try that $999. At $991,000. Jim, anything here? Haven't heard anything from you in a while as well. At $991,000 at the moment. At $991. At $991 here. Now, what do you say? At $991. Two, thank you, sir. $992. And that was a great year, 92. At $992,000. Back against you at $992,000 at the moment. At $992. Yang? $992. Conversations happening over here with the family at $992. We understand it's a big decision to make, but it's an easy decision to make. It's such a great location and such a great property here, ladies and gentlemen, at $992. At $992,000. 93? Sir? Can I see you back here? Been with me since the beginning. Hate for you to miss out now for $1,000 at $992. At $992. What's $1,000 between friends? At $992 at the moment. At $992 now. I've said this before. Even if it's a $10,000 increment, it's not much in the current situation with inflation going through the roof, ladies and gentlemen. $10,000 don't even get you an overseas holiday. At $992,000 across the road. But it may secure you 42 Mersey Street in Buxton North, which you and your family can enjoy. At $992,000 now. First, second, third and final call now at $992,000. All done, all finished, all done. 93 now, 993. At $993,000 now. Been here so long that it's starting to rain here now, ladies and gentlemen. At $993,000 at the moment. At $993. At $993,000 now. First, second, third and final call now. At $993,500 now, $995. At $995,000 now. Back against you, Yang. What do you say? At $995. At $995,000 now. $995. At $995, sir. What do you say? Let's try $1 million. I reckon $1 million will do it. Round us up to $1 million and just leave your best on the table here, sir. At $995,000 at the moment here. At $995. Yeah, well, we've been on the market for a very long time. At $995. You want a bid? At $995. At $995,000, I think we're on the market at $910. At $995,000 here. $995. At $995 here. Granny, what do you say? At $995. Celine, what do you say? Add another property to your growing portfolio in Box Hill North at $995,000. Great property here you want to move in at $995. At $995 now. Sir, all done? All finished? All silent? Any more bids here? 500? 500 here. 995, 500 back against you here. 995, 500. At 995, 500 now. Anything here? At 995, 500. At 995, 500. At 995, 500. Jim, any bids here? Need to know. 96. 96 back against you, sir. They've copied your tactic. 500 now. 996, 500. At 996, 500 here. At 996, 500. 996, 500 now. Sir, need to know. At 996, 500. 996, 500. 97. Thank you, sir. 997. 997. Take us to $1 million. At 997 at the moment. At 997 here on my right. At $997,000. 997 here. 997. At 997 at the moment, sir. 997. Can I see another 500 or more at $997,000? Looks like your wife wants it, sir, at $997,000. Happy wife, happy life at 997. At 997 here. Need to know. 997 at the moment. 98? 998. 998 here. Let's try that 999 that you were shouting before, ma'am, at 998 at the moment. At 998. Let's try 99. I'll go straight to $1 million at 998. At $998,000 here. At 998. 998. At 998 at the moment. I think $1 million is still great value buying in the heart of Buxton North. You're going to spend $1 million now in other suburbs, further away from the city, at $998,000 now. At 998, Jim, need to know. Going to call it 3 times now. First call now, 998. 999. 999, sir, back against you here at 999,000. At 999. At 999 here, holding the bid. 999. Take us to $1 million, sir. At 999. What do you say? At 999 here. At 999. Okay. At $999,000 here. At $999,000. Need to know. At 999. So it's just between the two of you now. At 999. It's either you or them. At 999. At $999,000. Going to call it 3 times now. First, second, third and final call now at $999,000. We're all done, all finished, all silent here. No late bids, no late offers. $1 million got there in the end, and $1 million now. Back against you, Jim, at $1 million now. At $1 million here, on my left-hand side at $1 million. At $1 million here. At $1 million. At $1 million now, Jim, what do you say? At $1 million here. At $1 million. Sorry? 500, $1 million, $1 million and $500. $1 million and $500, sir. Let's put in the knockout offer, sir. 500, $1 million and 1,000. $1 million and 1,000. They're walking away. Thank you for your participation. $1 million and 1,000 here on my left-hand side. Looks like you've knocked all the competition out. Hopefully for you, there's no last-minute bidders here. At $1 million and $1,000 now. Gonna call it final 3 more times and sell away to the highest bidder here on my left-hand side if there's no further competition or increments from the crowd. At $1 million and $1,000 now. At $1 million and $1,000, Jim's just doing the due diligence for our vendors here. At $1 million and $1,000, gonna make sure we've got the best for our vendors here now. At $1 million and $1,000 now. At $1 million and $1,000, first call now. Second, third and final call at $1 million and $1,000 on behalf of the team at Buxton Real Estate. Jim and I have been the selling agents for this property, and we look forward to talking to you after the auction. We're $1 million and $1,000. 500? 500, thank you, sir. $1 million and one. You're out, sir. $1 million and 1,500. $1 million and 1,500. In the car now, that's the first time I've seen it, at $1 million and $1,000, at $1 million and 1,500. Are you sure, sir? It looks like they've given the best as well, $1 million and 1,500. I'm going to call it 3 times and sell away now. Gentleman was about to leave at $1 million and 1,500. Are you sure you want to miss out for 500 now? At $1 million and 1,500. At $1 million and 1,500. At $1 million and 1,500 here on my right-hand side. $1 million and 1,500. Sir, need to know. Gonna call it 3 times now. First call now, $1 million and 1,500. Second opportunity now at $1 million and 1,500. Sorry? Another 500? No, no 200. Let's go do 500, sir. Minimum 500. If you want the property. $1 million, huh? 500? $1 million and 2,000. $1 million and 2,000, sir. Can I see another 500, sir? Or 1,000? 1,000? 500? Amir? 1,003,000. 1,003,000 now, $1,000 increment. At 1,003,000. At 1,003,000. At 1,003,000 here. At 1,003,000. At 1,003,000 here on the right. Sir, what do you say? $1,003,000 at the moment. At $1,003,000. $1,003,000 now. Need to know. Gonna call it 3 times now. First call now, $1,003,000. Second opportunity now at $1,003,000. For the third and final call now at $1,003,000. No late bids, no late offers. Thank you for your participation, sir. On behalf of the team at Buxton Real Estate, Jim and I have been the selling agents for this property, and we look forward to talking to you after the auction, where $1,003,000 this property is selling. This property is selling. Put your hands together to the new purchasers. This property is sold. Congratulations. Commiserations to our underbidders. Congratulations to our vendors. Thank you for attending another Buxton auction. Have a great weekend. And for those of you who are looking for a similar property, we've got one at 2 o'clock at Unit 1, number 9, Victoria Street in central Box Hill. Also in the Box Hill High School zone, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Hopefully we'll see you there. Thank you.